Welcome to the MT Podcast. This is episode 23. This is the show where we basically cover esports personalities, upcoming gaming industry related news,
Yes.
new games, and technology and innovation. I am your host, Michael Anthony, my co-host KyleHeath, and basically what we like to do is just check in. How have you been for the last week? How's
Oh,
it going? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I played some games past week. You'd be proud of me. Didn't do heavy on the editing still, of course. That's like the
Mm-hmm.
side. That's the side gig. Always will be. But I played a little. I got back into Smite a little bit over the weekend. Had a lot of fun with
Yeah.
that. It's one of those games, you know. I got to go back like every 6 months at least, just like play a little bit. And it's like, oh, it's fun. It's fun to like return and just hop back on that game. So got some games in with the boys on that. A lot of fun as always. But I think that was in terms of games. I think that's all I got around to this week in terms of playing. I was gonna play some Apex the other night, but things came up, so unfortunate.
I heard.
But
I heard you were too busy to actually game. Too busy
yeah,
editing.
yeah. There's a lot of projects in the works, so it's a good thing. Can't complain. It's nice to have work.
Yeah, especially if they're gigs. I mean, you're getting pretty good at editing. So the more practice you get, the more work you get.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's the
it's always gonna
mindset.
be good.
So we stay grinding, and
Yeah, you seriously grinding.
yeah, and not to get about the economy or anything, but I definitely want to have a second source of income right now. So that's
Dude, I
without a
feel
doubt.
that. I feel that. I think everybody feels that at this point. I don't think there's a single soul that's just like, nah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
I'm completely content and happy with what we're doing.
yeah,
Oh.
exactly. What about you, Mike?
Man, I haven't really dived much into like new games. I've pretty much been doing the same old ones. Um, I need to get back. I'll tell you what I do need to do. After I tell you what I've been playing, I've been playing Halo Infinite a lot more. I played some Rocket League. Still, just grinding, playing some games, like trying to have fun, learn some things. Like I've been really diving into like the reverse engineering how they designed Halo Infinite to
Yeah,
try to make the games easier for the team.
yeah,
So that's a big thing that I've been working on the last week. Outside of that, man, it's like not much. One thing I do want to mention though is we're not going to cover it in this episode. Maybe later when I actually get a chance to try it out. Apparently, Cyberpunk added in flying cars.
saw that. I saw your
Yeah,
post on that.
so I need to go check that out, see how that looks, how that actually plays,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
also I want to dive more into the Cycle. Frontier, the battle royale game that's like
Yeah,
Escape from Tarkov. I played that a little bit here and there, but I haven't like dived into it. It's a game that you need to have a crew for, you know.
yeah, I feel that.
Um, yeah, but outside of that, man, I feel like the last week has been kind of slow when it came to gaming. The weather's been really nice. I mean, we're like dead center like summer
Yeah,
feels like
no,
now.
or like feels like
This is
almost peak summer.
yeah, it's you and I are in the south, so we're
Yeah,
struggling.
dude. Yeah, as always.
90s and 100s. So I'm like,
It
oh gosh.
Yeah. I mean, you know just as much as I do too that this is not the worst of it because the worst of
Oh
it comes
gosh,
late
no.
summer. Is when that's like the actual worst.
Yeah, when we're
So
getting hit by hurricanes and it's like 1000% humidity,
no, no,
and then it's like 95 degrees.
yeah. It feels like 105 on your weather app.
Yeah, so humid you'll start sweating from the heat, and then your sweat will condense, and you'll sweat even more. It's gonna be so
It's a
bad, dude.
vicious cycle,
It's
man.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, outside of that, man, I mean, I've been basically just trying to pay attention to what's been going on the last week with like news, and new tech coming out. There's been a bunch of different movements, especially with sales. So I'm pretty excited to go over this like this week about at least some of the games that are on sale, you know?
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that. I mean, we just came off the tail end of the Epic Game Store sale,
Yeah.
which is always like huge every year.
Hmm.
And now it's like getting into the console side. And now, we'll be talking a little bit about the PlayStation sale that's going on. They're like summer sale they always have. So
Yes, sir.
that has arrived.
Are you drinking LaCroix again?
Yeah, got lemon this time. I
Hey,
don't
at
got
least that one actually has
the
flavor.
beach plum or whatever it was last time. This is lemon, baby.
Ah, I roasted you so bad about that one. I think
Oh,
that was like episode 1, season 3.
think so. I don't know. Check out the Mad Mike Clips channel or Mad Mike the M2 Podcast Clips channel.
You're so used to editing, you're just like, so I'm editing Mad Mike's podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're co-host. I don't know if you know this, but you've been here for 23 episodes.
Have I? Jeez, man. I don't
Jeez,
believe
yep.
you.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, so what do you got for us this week? What have you
Uh,
found on the interwebs?
oh boy, we found some stuff. Say there's
Hmm.
a same kind of mix of news. There's some downers, but there's some uppers. It's kind of how it is every week. But we'll start off on a positive note with Xbox Cloud Gaming, because whenever we talk about Xbox Cloud Gaming, it's like 99% positive. So start
Yeah,
with
it's a
that.
fact.
Start with that. So Xbox Cloud Gaming is getting mouse and keyboard support and latency improvements. This comes from The Verge, Tom Warren. He said Microsoft is preparing to add mouse and keyboard support to its Xbox Cloud Gaming service xCloud that streams Xbox games, TVs, PCs, mobile devices, and more. Software giant teased the addition earlier this year, and now it's encouraging game developers to get ready for mouse keyboard support and big latency improvements on Xbox Cloud Gaming soon. Quote, Xbox has been supporting keyboard and mouse for a few years now, and we're working on adding it to streaming for PC users. Software engineer Microsoft Xbox game streaming team. But you can start adding it to your game right now, and your console keyboard and mouse users will appreciate it. It will light up in streaming once we've finished adding it. So pretty big thing in the works, I think. It's good to see that a little bit more PC is getting involved. Even though like we've seen that ever since what feels like the inception of Game Pass. PC and console have been pretty intertwined, and feels like each have gotten like pretty adequate support on both sides. So nothing too surprising, but I think it's good to hear that, especially just kind of letting devs know that this is more than likely going to be a thing coming up very soon. So definitely, if devs have the bandwidth, they should definitely look into making sure they have that available to their Game Pass games. Um, Very good stuff there. The article goes on a little bit more to talk about. There's even a slideshow discussing some of the new APIs that are going to improve stream latency. Um, and for those that don't know, it's essentially just like the code that they can pull into their games in order, and especially on the streaming side. So when they're streaming, they essentially cut a lot of corners to get rid of a lot of latency. I know for me, like whenever I know I mentioned before, but whenever I'm gaming, I mean, there's certainly noticeable latency, especially if the internet's bad. And
Yeah.
some, but yeah, so there are some specs they go into that says the latency could drop as low as 2 to 12 milliseconds compared to the 8 to 74 through the traditional display pipeline. There are some limitations though. Direct capture only supports a maximum resolution of 1440p and doesn't support dynamic resolution or HDR just yet. Yeah, they talk a little bit about when you're streaming, best resolution for the quality and latency balance, and guarantees direct capture, avoids extra scaling latency and minimizes scaling artifacts. So, a bunch of gaming terms, not a bunch of like game dev terms there. Nothing that's probably of note for most people. Just know that your games are gonna interact a little bit better with your inputs. So, I don't know, what do you think overall, Mike? Does this sound good?
Well, yeah. So the main concentration rate is the mouse and keyboard support and the latency improvements. So the latency improvements are always going to be good because that's going to help out all the hardware,
Yeah,
regardless of whether or not you use a mouse and keyboard. One of the things that has me interested in like something that they kind of missed on is people that play like first person shooters. So like COD or Halo or anything like that, and they want to use mouse and keyboard, but all they have is an Xbox. The polling rate is I don't think the polling rate can get over 500 hertz,
no,
which
that's
is kind of a
interesting.
big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is kind of a big deal. I think it's like default or something like that, like 250 or 300.
yeah,
So what happens is like people that are comfortable on PC where like the polling rate could be what they want it to be, like, and they get really comfortable with the refresh rate with how quick the movement, how smooth the movement is, and they come over to an Xbox and it just feels sluggish. They don't feel as accurate. Like everything just feels broken.
yeah.
That's what I've heard from people that use mouse and keyboard on Xbox about how difficult it is. So I hope they can improve that, but I feel like that's a hardware issue. That's not something they can fix with software.
Yeah,
But then again,
yeah,
this is cloud gaming, so you're not limited by the hardware.
yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. I think. I mean, I think overall it'd be good to see those improvements, but yeah, there is still some of those like limitations that aren't easily noticeable. I think to most people, especially on the
Yeah.
console side. So
Yeah, I mean, for the casual fan, casual player of like games, actually, I think most gamers, they're not going to notice. They're not going to care. So this is definitely a good improvement. It's only the beginning too. Like,
yeah,
I just love how the latency is getting lower and lower. And it's getting faster and faster. I mean, the latency spread for, I guess, the display pipeline, what they currently have is from 8 to 74 milliseconds, is what they
yeah,
say. And then the direct capture, which is their new add-on and software for it, is from 2 to 12 milliseconds. So on the high end, that's dramatic.
yeah,
That's 62 millisecond difference.
yeah. I mean,
Like
they also
that's enough to
mentioned
notice.
right. Yeah, I mean they also mentioned with that direct capture and lowering that latency, they aren't able to output the like 4K resolution or like a higher resolution
Right.
with that, which makes sense because just trying to make it faster, there's gonna be a lot more bandwidth needed for higher
Hmm.
display um higher display settings. So it makes
Yeah, so
sense.
yeah, what I think it really does is it brings more flexibility to, like, you don't really care too much about the latency if you're playing a game that's story driven, campaign style, you know? But if you're concentrating more on like reactionary games, like racing games or I don't know, whatever wherever like reaction is more important than the actual like aesthetics of the game, then you can go with direct capture.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit of it's a compromise. It gives you options on how you want to use xCloud.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean all around positive stuff. Um, yeah, let's see. Article goes a little bit more. Says Nvidia launched the 3080 GeForce Now tier. So GeForce Now is their Nvidia's streaming platform. They launched a 3080 tier last year with impressive latency improvements. NVIDIA built its own adaptive technology, which varies the game rendering to match a synchronous monitor and allows GeForce Now to sync stream games to any 60 Hz or 120 Hz monitor. 120 Hz monitor, which is pretty crazy. Like the fact that they can do
Yeah.
that over stream. So, so NVIDIA, who knows? I don't know all the specs between all the streaming services, but I mean, I feel like NVIDIA would have a pretty good grasp on it. But I mean, when it's all said and done, I mean, we're still in the infancy stage of streaming, so it's
Oh
only gonna
yeah.
get better. It's like, like I've been trying to think about that a lot lately, with like especially with like newer like streaming technology and like hardware and whatnot. I mean, for the most part, we're still like pretty early on into the game, you know. Um,
Yeah, we're
so
really, really early. I think Google Stadia might have been the first ones to try it. Does that sound about right? And they were talking about like in 2009, around the same time they were trying to do those Google glasses.
yeah, yeah,
And I think Microsoft already had the infrastructure and the backing of the hardware, the technology. They're already in the gaming space. So it's only obvious that Xbox is kind of leading the charge now.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they got it all, man. So yeah, like you said, they had the foundation, so it's only
Have
gonna
you
get
had a
better.
chance to have you had a chance to check out cloud gaming yet?
Um, Not recently. I think the last time I actually tried cloud gaming on my like iPhone was on this really old iPhone was like, months ago, but I didn't really try it again because I figured the hardware is probably not there for me to like stream a game like efficiently on
Yeah.
this device. So I'm really just waiting until I get a new phone, and once I do, then I'll probably check it out again and give it a fair shot because I think it'd be a lot better on like a newer generation phone.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been eyeing. So my phone's about 2 or 3 years old. It might be actually, it might be close to 4 now,
Yeah.
4 or 5. Yeah, like the whole situation that happened like the past 2 years, I kind of erased a year from my memory because it was all spent indoors. So my time is all messed up, and I think a lot of people are like that too. But my next phone is gonna have that capability to do cloud gaming and also TVs. I want to get that Samsung TV so bad now. And now I'm like, I've been eyeing up Vizio's, and I'm like, Vizio has TikTok integrated too. Oh my gosh. Like, there's so many things coming.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you
yeah,
saw
it's gonna be really
you
interesting.
saw that huge monitor I sent you, right? It was like a monitor. It's like the size of a TV.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
you
like half
said
off.
here.
Isn't
Let's pull it up right now. This isn't like a plug for the products because we haven't watched any reviews, right?
it?
But you were just like, look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You said you didn't know I worked for a PC gamer.
Yeah.
It's like I'm this close to spending money I don't have on
I
this huge
know.
4K
That
120 hertz OLED gaming monitor.
that article's
It's
hilarious. The guy was like,
it
he's like,
sounds
I'm about to
hilarious.
buy it. I'm about to do it. So funny.
Yeah, so the Aorus, Aorus, Aorus. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Oris.
Aorus, okay. FO48U 48-inch 4K OLED gaming monitor. This is the problem. So if you read the full title for Amazon, it's out of control. It's like OLED gaming monitor, 3842 times 2160 display, 120 hertz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time, GTG, whatever the heck that means. 1x display port, 1.4, 2x HDMI 2.1. That alone is gonna make that's like $300 right there. HDMI 2.1. You got
Yeah.
two of those.
Two of them
USB
babies.
3.0. You only had 3.1 though? Sheesh. They even have 3.1 with USB Type C. So this thing's nuts. This would take up my entire
Yeah.
my entire table.
It would. And it's half off, Mike.
No, it's not anymore. You sent it to
Oh,
me last night.
dang. They already
No
got rid of the
joke.
sale?
It's already at above 1,000. So it was at $1,500 when you sent it to me. It was at
Yeah.
749,
Yeah, something like
right?
that.
And
Dang.
now it's up to so it's only 28% off. So they sold enough
Dang.
copies. They're like, okay, that's enough. This looks
Jeez.
like a TV, man.
I know. It pretty much is.
Yeah, but we're
Not
getting
gonna lie.
distracted here. We were
We
talking about
are.
cloud gaming.
We are. Talk about Xbox. And I think it's a good segue
What's
to
going on?
get into the next
Yeah,
segment,
it
huh?
is.
Because it's still
Yeah.
Microsoft. It's Xbox. Microsoft confirmed there's a shortage of Xbox controllers. Um, so yet another shortage in the in the making right now. At the time of writing this article, which was June 21st, so 2 days ago at the time of recording this show, major retailers in multiple regions are completely sold out of Xbox wireless controllers, and the peripherals seem to be particularly scarce across Europe, which I think would make sense. Less there's probably less of a market there in terms of that stuff. Um, in the UK, there are currently no controllers in any color in stock at retailers Game, Smiths, Argos, Currys, and even the official Microsoft Store. Amazon UK is one of the few retailers that stock of the Carbon Black controller, which was newly added today, sold out at the time of writing the article. Third-party prices on Amazon for the Black controller start at £93, nearly double the official price. Already being scalped, baby, and upcharged. So yeah,
Uh,
not good over there, but Xbox Design Lab appears to still be taking orders from players wishing to design and buy their own custom controllers. Design Lab site continues to claim, "We aim to have the controller in your hands within 28 days of placing your order." It's not clear if this remains the case or simply hasn't been updated. Because that was one of my first questions too, is like, they just opened up Design Lab again recently, so is that going to affect that? And I guess we still don't have an update on that. But yeah, controllers, the new shortage, Mike. It's the new thing people can't get their hands on.
I didn't see that coming.
So, yeah, I honestly didn't see it either. It's quite surprising, I do have to say. I feel like every time I go to the store, I always see racks and racks of controllers. So I mean, granted this is the UK, but still, I think, if that market's short, who knows how long it would take for our market to start shortening. And yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, man. I don't even know where to go from here, right? So it's like the whole situation that's going on in China with basically factories and everything being shut down. I think they're still shut down. I haven't looked up in like at least 2 weeks, so I could be wrong. But with it being shut down and we depend on all the global chips from there, there's like raw materials that are still like they're behind on orders kind of situation. And there's just there's a shortage. Like what else do you say? You can't
Yeah.
build like all these products. So it kind of makes me think like take care of your controllers the best you can,
Yeah, that's
you know?
true. It's
Quit
very true.
slamming them down in like an addy fueled rage.
Oh man. See, they have a picture in this article of a bunch of different like design lab controllers. And they're like
They
showing
look
all the designs,
gorgeous.
but they look sick. Like
They look so good.
it's one of those things like if they had this in like a pro controller, it's like I feel like a lot of people would buy pro controllers because they'd be able to design their own.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I don't know. At the same time, there's a lot of a lot of people out there that just want to get a controller, and I think it's like, I think like you might as well like if you want to get a controller and you don't like care about buttons or anything, like go to the design lab when it's open and just like make one from scratch because it's pretty
Yeah, they're
sick.
fun. It's super fun. You don't even have to like just go explore it, honestly. Like
Yeah,
there are plenty other third party manufacturers that I think they have partnerships with Microsoft and Xbox to actually make the controllers.
yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, you can also get like modular controllers too. I have literally one right here lit up for anybody that's like watching on the YouTubes. It's like
It's
this
so
stuff just
nice.
I could take that out. Like that's what it looks like without the light on.
Yeah.
And there are different components to this is the Thrustmaster for people that are listening. I probably should mention that. But they have like side panels right here,
Oh, that's
and you
sick.
can take it
Yeah.
off. That's a blue camo style. The default's all black. It's like they're all connected by magnets. It's like super sturdy. There are other controllers that do that. Like I'm pretty sure Scuff, correct me if I'm wrong, but Scuff, I think you can have the faceplate be
Yeah.
changed,
Yeah. Yeah. I
right?
think so.
So so it's like the buttons, like all of this stuff, I feel like you should be able to buy separately if you want to.
Yeah.
Because the real shortage right now is not the plastic. That's something you can just mold in a factory pretty easily. It's not a
Yeah.
shortage on plastic right now or polymers, but there's a shortage on the actual like chips and the
Yeah.
metals that go into the circuit boards. So I think that should
Yeah.
be an option for
I
people.
mean,
That's there's a problem. I have a solution. Give me credit. Like fix it.
and give me a
You know
paycheck.
what I mean?
You know.
Give me a paycheck, like royalties.
Yeah, that's honestly a really good point. I feel like if Xbox that could be a really good next leg up in the peripheral space if they literally
Oh
just
yeah,
started making controllers like modular in terms of like design and like get a
dude.
plate and like they can start marketing plates, they can start marketing bumpers like and just make it easily replaceable. I mean, in that and your controller long term can like keep the same one for the most part. I mean, if the we mentioned last week, the new Sony Pro controllers, and if the rumors are true, that's gonna essentially you can take out the thumbstick modules and replace them, so you don't have to
Hmm.
get a whole new controller. Like, dude,
Exactly.
if Sony's actually doing that, they're beating
Yeah.
Microsoft, like on the peripheral space. Like, it's just crazy. So
Yeah. Like my Thrustmaster over here is like $180. That's a premium product that I had to buy, and I wanted to buy it and have to buy it. But like the joysticks, I can literally just unplug it and take out the entire thing and replace it. Or the actual pads is a screw top,
oh my
so I can
gosh,
unscrew it. And if you can see that, like, and they have different heights and stuff too. So there's so many things you can do with the joysticks on Thrustmaster, and they're also partnered with Xbox. So it's like Microsoft and Xbox are aware this controller exists. It's modular. It's like, why wouldn't you also do that?
yeah, right. Why
You
don't you
know?
just like take them in and be like,
Just
hey, we like that
yeah.
design.
Yeah, but it's like you have to build the infrastructure and like the manufacturing facilities, partnerships, blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah
I
blah. But it's like it's
guess.
also unlimited money Microsoft.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I think it's safe to say I think controllers in that aspect is like long overdue for an upgrade and like to just be able to customize it however you want. It just
yeah.
like swap out the joysticks. The joysticks are always the first things to go. Drift always
Always.
gets really bad very fast, especially if
Hmm.
you use your controller on a daily basis. It's like, dude, come
Yeah.
on, make it modular. Help us out. Help the consumer out. Microsoft, Xbox, is the pro consumer, like like just
Ser-
game company. Like, if they want to like double down on that, they should take a closer look and reevaluate the peripherals.
Yeah. So like we kind of hype up Microsoft a lot on this podcast. Um Sometimes we do check like a couple of things they do when it comes to like the Sony and Microsoft battle. we kind of give Sony a bit of a hard time, I feel like, justifiably in a lot of aspects. But the one thing Sony does not miss is their controllers. They
Yeah,
don't miss.
yeah,
Microsoft and the Xbox controllers, I'm sorry, man. I've owned every single Xbox controller. They are trash. They're like, I gotta
yeah,
call it what it is. They're not very good. The Elite controllers fall apart too. It's like the PS4 controller DualShock is amazing. The PS5 controller, amazing. They're working on the PS5 like Elite equivalent
yeah.
that we covered last episode, man. That thing's gonna be fire. I have
You're
no
gonna,
doubt in my
it's gonna
mind it's gonna
smack,
be sick.
dude.
I have no doubt in my mind it's gonna smack. And they're probably gonna put in some type of software that's gonna make it register on Xbox just for the lulz. You know?
Could you
It's
imagine?
like that
Oh,
I doubt it. That's just kind of a troll, but if it did happen, I'd be stoked.
yeah,
No, but like back to Xbox, man. They have so many areas to improve when it comes to their controllers. I feel like they just figured out the proper way to like design it so it's comfortable in your hands. And then they were like, okay, that's good enough. And they haven't
yeah,
done anything since.
yeah. That's true. It's very true. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I don't know how soon it would be. I feel like Microsoft. All right, small rant. I feel like Microsoft's at a point they're so focused on software and they're so focused on getting games out, and we it was evidently clear at Summer Games Fest this year that like there are so many games that were announced and we just haven't heard anything about, and so there's so much
Yeah.
stuff they announced way too early, and so now it's like they're trying to make sure they do it right, so they don't want to sit here and give too much info on it because they're like, okay, we don't want to mess it up. But then there's Microsoft Studios that are literally struggling. So it's like it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, like there's like don't get me wrong, Game Pass is great and everything, but like I feel like they're playing catch up to try and make sure that their games and everything they're putting out on like the software side is good and ready to go. And so like the hardware, we may not see any improvements on it until, they have stability amongst all the mergers they've done and just getting all the studios like on track. It's like it's unfortunate, but I think seeing as much as I would love to see adjustments to the peripherals, especially the controller, I just think it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like it may be a couple years until we see anything, or maybe even the next generation console. If they put that out, then they may try and reevaluate the controller at that point. Right now, we're stuck with same joysticks, same thing, man.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I gotta respectfully decline or like respectfully disagree because Microsoft's so big and the studios are so big that they can do both simultaneously. They don't need to just concentrate entirely on like I understand like the business aspect of it of like driving the company in a certain direction that they want to make. Like they want to make everything more cloud. That's cool, but it's like you still have an entire department dedicated to hardware, do you not?
I
It's
mean, yeah,
like
yeah, I
you just
guess.
launched your Series X. Like, okay, cool, you're doing software for that, but it's like, can we make the response time a little bit quicker on the Xbox controller? Can we increase longevity? Like, it's mechanical engineering 101, man. The more mechanical parts you add to a device, which is their paddles, is what I'm hinting at for the Elite controller, is more areas that it can fail in the long term.
Yep, definitely.
And that's why the buttons, like they're not buttons really, they're levers that connect to a button,
Yeah,
and it always degrades and breaks. The joysticks get clogged. I mean, that could be down to like user error, being dirty, like not
yeah,
washing hands or whatever, getting crumbs, people
yeah.
munching and eating while they're gaming. But I don't know what like enough ranting about it. They have areas to improve on.
Yeah,
The
for
third
sure.
party retailers though, with the style, I mean, dude, this is sick. For people that are watching, you can see it. They have like all the different types of camo, the brush paint, the
Yeah,
fade.
yeah,
Like it
no,
looks like it came out of the old Need for Speed video games when you used to paint your cars.
for real.
Um, It's
Yeah,
pretty sick.
yeah, it is. All right, we've been on Microsoft long enough. It's
Yeah.
time. It's time
I mean,
for a little bit of
oh.
a question mark of an article. Are you ready for this, Mike?
Yeah, we're bringing it back. It's
Uh,
been a while since we talked about this studio.
yeah. So Dice, Dice put out an article this, or I shouldn't say Dice did, PC Gamer did, but Dice put out a
Yes.
statement saying that they're only focusing on Battlefield 2042 and they have no time for other projects right now. Um, Again, an article comes from PC Gamer. They said Dice is all in on Battlefield 2042 with head Rebecca Coates Cotes.
I
If
think
I
it's
said that right,
Cotis.
yeah, I think Cotes, saying that there's quote no time for anything else. Developer was has largely is largely existed to pump out a Battlefield games over the years, but I'll always love Dice for Mirror's Edge and its sequel Catalyst. Nearly 14 years later, the game still holds up beautifully from its sleek minimalist aesthetic to protagonist Fate's fluid movement. I, I get that I didn't read the whole article. I get the sense that he probably wants another Mirror's Edge game, which
Hmm.
that's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. I
I
love those games, by the way. Fantastic
Here,
games.
I'll give you the rundown. So I read it. It's by Molly Taylor, who I'm gonna click on the name, make sure it's a lady. It's a she. So she's a big Mirror's Edge fan, and she's very upset that Dice isn't making a Edge game, which is fair. Have you ever played Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking
Loads.
about. Like, dude, those
Yeah,
games. Oh man, like when I
pretty.
was like when I had my first Xbox 360, and that was one of the first games I got, and I was glued until I beat that game. It was,
Dude, so it was so cool, man. It's like so addicting. I think that was right at the height, or like right at the beginning of lead up to the hype of surrounding parkour.
yeah,
Remember that? Like
exactly.
nobody was like big into parkour, and then Mirror's Edge comes out, and we're like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
And
right. Like,
everybody's like,
dude.
I'm gonna run on walls and jump over stuff.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so Dice is basically apparently the head of the studio is saying that they're actually working on Battlefield 2042, and we covered, was it last episode? Was the episode before when we found out, or there were rumors that Dice was basically done with 2042,
Yeah,
and they were
that
like,
was well. Yeah, that was the thing. People were like, yeah, like there was.
yeah,
I think a rumor that came out from like Jeff Grubb, like on his podcast. He was like, yeah, like Dice is pretty much like that Battlefield 2042 has a skeleton team. They're not really worried about it anymore. They're not
yeah,
focusing on it. And then like they came out like I don't know if it's the CEO or someone of the company came out and they were like, no, this is a lie. Like we definitely don't have just a skeleton team on that game. We have a full house like working on it. So yeah, I mean that was it, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, I mean, all right, I guess they're still focused on it. I mean, it's one of those things like, I guess part of me is kind of like, should they just ditch it at this point and move on to the next thing? Like, should they just take the L and just hold it and move on, or should they actually try and pump resource? And it sounds like the latter, at least from this article. So Coda said that she wants the team to be really proud of about Battlefield 2042, adding that we want Dice to be the number one spot for first-person shooting games in Europe and one of the powerhouses in the world. It's a fabulous team, and we're going to make magic together. So, they're still speaking highly. They want to make it a good game, and I mean, I guess I can respect them for that. And at the same time, I don't know if I doubt there's a Battlefield game coming out this year. We didn't hear anything about one, so it's probably going to be another year or so of 2042. So I mean, there's still time for it to recover. I don't want to be like pessimistic about that, but
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's still the main focus over at Dice. So I'm hoping if it is the main focus, we really see some improvements. Over the next like 6 months of like what the game could have been at launch. So
yeah. They need to make serious improvements to bring that player count back up because on Steam it was looking abysmal, man. I think it got lower than Battlefield 3 at one point,
yeah, so
which is nuts. That's such an old game.
yeah,
Um,
for real.
but I do like what they said. Rebecca Cotes basically said that they couldn't do that to their players and we couldn't do it to ourselves. So they're obviously referencing the fact that they released a full AAA game that was broken, unfinished, and they charged people money for it.
Yep,
So
yep,
I think as a developer or anybody that makes a product and charges money for it, including services, right? You got to finish the job, man.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know. So
Yeah,
I think it's an obligation, maybe morally or at least ethically, it's an obligation that they have to go back and finish this game and make sure it's in working order.
yeah,
So
exactly. I
I-
mean, yeah, and I fully agree with that. If they want to put the time in, and I think at this rate, it's all they can do. It's the least they can do. Is just go back and
yeah.
make sure at least some of the promises are fulfilled for that game.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, but I do think any criticism that's been geared towards them, I have like I don't know what to say. Like no empathy? Is
yeah,
empathy the right one?
it's empathy.
Apathy? I'm
Yeah,
apathetic towards the situation. because it's like, dude, you're charging money. You advertise the game, you better finish it,
Yeah.
and you better make
People
it
paid.
happen.
People paid. Finish it.
Yeah, that's a fact. So I think until then, they're gonna keep getting review bombed because that's
Pro-
what gamers are doing.
yeah.
But if they can fix it, man, it's the Battlefield. Battlefield fans are serious, dude. Like, if you can fix the game and it's fun, they'll come back and they'll play it.
Yeah.
They're gonna have
Oh
no
yeah.
issues.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
a lot of FPS people out there, especially people that got into FPS probably through Battlefield. So there's fans.
oh yeah,
You
oh
gotta make them
definitely.
happy. You know. Um. I mean, I wish the best for this game. You know.
I'm still
At the
waiting to
end of the
play it.
day.
I'm still waiting to buy it and play it, but I'm not doing it until I find
Well, it
out
gets
that it's
good.
actually, good.
Yeah.
So,
Respect. Well, we have there's one more big giant gaming convention this summer. At the end of
yep.
August, typically it's Gamescom in Germany, kind of the big EU event. But there's been some companies that have said they are pulling out of this year's event, or they won't be there at least. Um, and the latest to say that is PlayStation. They confirmed this week that they will not be attending Gamescom. So I know the sub headline says or at least the subheadline of one of the articles I read said, I mean, good luck getting any news on on the new God of War 2. It's not going to be at Gamescom. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I fully suspect we'll probably end up getting a state of play for that at some point. Anyways, I digress. There was a statement put out by German publication Games. I don't know German. Wait, what is that? Word shit. I don't want to say it wrong.
Wirtschrift?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm not German.
We gotta drink. We have to drink at least like 8 pints of German beer to be able to speak that.
True. Anyway, a spokesperson of that publication said that a PlayStation firm confirmed it would not attend this year's event, which is due to take place in August and will be its first in-person show since the pandemic, which I think is of note there. Other companies, including Nintendo, Activision-Blizzard, Take-Two Interactive, all three of them have been heavy hitters that have said they are not attending Gamescom's return this year. So, I mean, those are pretty big hitters. I mean, the article goes on
Yeah.
to describe that the organizers are claiming that over 250 companies will attend this year's event. But at the time of the article, I mean, there's only a handful of major publications, Bandai Namco, THQ Nordic, Koch Media, that said they are publicly going to be there. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm still excited for Gamescom. I think there may be some cool things there, but it's always, even though I say that, it's always like I never really watch like opening night live or anything like that, like their big kind of showcase they do. Because I feel like we get most of it at E3, and then like I don't want to say that Gamescom necessarily gets the scraps because there's been some interesting stuff there before, but it's kind of just like it's just the end of the summer, kind of getting ready for the fall. Maybe here's some updates since E3 on some games that were announced. And yeah, so I mean, it's good that it's in person this year, though. I think that's pretty cool. It's like kind of the first in person thing. I know Summer Games Fest had an in person thing, but this
Yeah,
Gamescom
but
maybe.
this is the first in person, like probably in Europe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so. Like, definitely in Germany. It mentions that in the article. It's gonna be the first one since the pandemic. So that's a big deal. Just having that. I
Yeah,
think I think we're gonna see more and more of this. Just big developers, big publishers pulling out of these types of conferences because I'm pretty sure Gamescom historically has always had some type of demo where, like, if you went there, some people can actually play the games before
yeah,
they're
yeah,
released.
yeah,
So a lot of these devs don't really have anything ready to play, to be honest.
yeah.
And
Which makes
if
sense.
they yeah, but if they do, it's like single player games that are going to be coming out next year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Um yeah, I think this is going to be I more and more people are going to start pulling out, I think, especially with bigger and bigger developers starting their own conferences to do
Yeah,
their own showcases.
and that's what it's turned into at this rate. There's a lot of like
Yeah.
big companies, with the exception of Xbox and Bethesda. They're still doing their showcase, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even then, that's technically separate. Still, it's not with. I mean, they always conveniently place it around like the showcase season. But I mean, they could just
Yeah.
as easily probably do that late, like in July or something, and get as much traction. It's not. It's just they're just almost being nice in a sense by saying like, hey, we'll pair it with E3 or Summer Games Fest or whatever's going on that
Exactly.
year.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
Yeah. I think
it's
that's
it's a lot of companies just doing their own thing, which I mean I can respect. It's still great content in terms of seeing what's coming out.
oh definitely. And this event, Gamescom 2022, is August 24th to the 28th, and it's going to be both online and in Germany.
Yeah,
So I'll be watching. I mean,
yeah,
you like I know you're watching.
yeah, yeah. Like
We
I'll
gotta stay
definitely, I'll
informed.
definitely check it out. Have my calendar marked.
Oh, definitely. So, I hope we see something cool. Like, I, the big developers. I mean, just not having Sony there is already huge. Then Nintendo's not there, or Activision-Blizzard. That's massive.
Yeah,
And then Take Two Interactive is what, like the fourth biggest publisher in the world.
but yeah. GTA,
But,
baby,
yeah,
well,
they're
Red Dead.
crazy big.
Like, yeah,
So I think what I'm getting at is like maybe this is an opportunity for the smaller devs, like that mid tier, mid tier to indie devs, like to actually showcase and be recognized for what they're pushing out.
yeah,
That'd be pretty
sure.
cool.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's always an opportunity there. Gamescom would be a good event to do that. So I'm sure we'll see something pretty good. Hopefully. But yeah, no PlayStation. Sorry, Sony fans. You know what Sony also has in the works though?
Uh, gee, I don't know.
Gee.
Gee, Willikers, what could it be?
Oh man. Well, Sony has some upcoming hardware announcements that
Heck yeah, they do.
at the time of recording this will be on Tuesday, the 28th. So like what, 5 days from now? Um,
Yeah, so we're covering that next episode. I'll tell you right now, that's going to be a topic I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
cover.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, we'll run through what the announcement is real quick. So,
Yeah,
um,
sorry, I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
yeah, so so the article this comes from Push Square. It said it looks like Sony will announce a new line of gamer focused products on the 28th of June. The initiative, apparently not led by PlayStation, will span several new announcements, including a trio of headsets, which have been leaked, by the way, and I can probably pull a picture real quick. A couple of gaming monitors that have been rumored, so like gaming monitors probably tailored for PlayStation, like tailored for the console. All the items will be branded under the new InZone label, but it's unclear whether a PS5 rumored Pro controller will be a part of this push. So I'm kind of hoping the Pro controller's there, like there's Sony's addition of that. And who knows? It may not be a part of InZone. It may just be something Sony's doing. But yeah, they made a tweet on the 21st of June, stating that in a week on the 28th at 2200 BST. That is 2300 CEST. I think is that European Central European time. I think, because I guess it's like probably Europe based. But yeah, so be kind of I guess 2 p.m. PT or 5 p.m. EST type of thing. So that will be Tuesday. Hopefully we'll see some cool stuff. There was so this is the pull up the articles real quick. So let's see. Showed the headset in here. I don't think they did. Let's see if I can find that article with the headsets. There was an article I had before. I think I lost it. Anyway, the headsets
Yeah.
the headsets look fairly interesting, and I think if we can't find it now, we'll show it certainly next week after it's announced. But the headsets kind of look like your standard like Sony, just like a Sony brand headset. But it looks very much in the PS5 kind of ecosystem. So, will certainly be interesting. We'll take a look at those in depth next week. And maybe if
Here,
there's monitors there, we can see those.
I just sent it to you so you can pull it up.
All right,
So
let's see.
BST is British summertime, which I believe is a 5 hour time difference if you're on the East Coast of the USA. Which means 22 BST would be was it 1800, which would be 6 p.m. for no 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, so 5 p.m. Um, yeah, so I really hope that the reason why I'm so excited is I really want to see this PS5 rumored controller. If that's true, I'm gonna be very excited.
Yeah.
I wanted to check it
True.
out. That's probably gonna be the next controller I get, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Anyways, here's the headset. I have it up on screen for the YouTube watchers, um but yeah, it's just one of them. There's apparently three variations. But again, like I was mentioning, it's very much the PS5 aesthetic with the white and the black and the blue. There's a blue ring around where the headband connects with the ear cup, which looks pretty cool.
yeah,
So
the
yeah.
rumor looks like what are they called, like racing ear like headphones that you put on, like
Yeah.
super protective ear like headphones and earbuds when you're like crazy noisy areas.
Yeah.
So I mean, it matches the console.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. Tuesday, 5 p.m. EST. Watch that. See what Sony unveils. Hopefully it's that controller, man, you know? You know? Be kind of sick.
I hope so, man. Really hope so.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's another article I want to talk about. Tony. So this was an interesting find. So it came to the public this week that there was actually more Tony Hawk remakes planned. For those that don't know, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, they had remakes last year. Um, and they were pretty decent from what I saw. It was pretty
Yep.
much like, 1-to-1, like really well
Yeah,
done, and um,
just graphics redone, basically.
yeah, for the most
Like a
part.
true remake. Make it pretty.
Yeah. So that was done. They turned out really well. But apparently there was more to that story. So I'll read a little bit of this. So for those with fingers crossed that the third and fourth installments of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater might get a remake, there's some bad news. According to Tony Hawk himself, speaking on a Twitch live stream, remakes for both were still planned as late as the release of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, but due to the merging of the remake studio Vicarious Visions and with Blizzard, the project was shelved. That was the plan, Hawk said during the live stream when discussing the possibility of further installments or remakes. Even up until the release day of the remakes 1 and 2, we were going for 3 and 4. Then Vicarious got absorbed, and then they were looking for other developers, and then it was over. So rather unfortunate there, huh? I think because like Pro Skater 3, oh man, that was the game. I
Yeah,
remember playing that. I remember playing the heck out of that. That was because that was one of the first games I think I got for GameCube. Um, and dude, oh man,
it's
oh
so good.
brother, it was like peak Tony Hawk. I feel like in those first like 4 installments, because like just everything was right. The music was fire. I mean, dude, it was way too good. And like the characters they had in that game, like the people they had. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember if that game had Steve-O. I feel like it had Steve-O in it. It was like just these
I
oddball,
think it was like
like
yeah, like a special character with Steve-O, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. It was like a bunch of
Yeah.
oddball characters, but it was just like it was so good. And so like seeing a third and a fourth, like well, seeing a third remake in particular would have been so good. Like would have been fire.
Oh, definitely.
But
Yeah, if
yeah,
they're I mean, it's gonna sell. I think they're gonna go with 3 and 4 eventually. They just need to find a studio that will publish it with them.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. There's
yeah,
Uh, I mean, there's a little more to the article. So it says once Vicarious Vision was out of the picture, Activision tried to recruit another studio to work on the remake projects. Activision were trying to find somebody to do 3 and 4, but they just didn't really trust anyone the way they trusted Vicarious. So they took other pitches from other studios, like what would you do this like Tony Hawk Pro Skater title, and they didn't like anything they heard, and then that was it. So it seems like there was there was an effort, I guess, to try and find other people, but it's just like Vicarious Visions, man, they're the ones, which I can understand. You don't want to probably deviate from like the original studio you were working with, especially if you like had a real like solid foundation with them. But yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
I think it's pretty interesting that he's mentioning that Activision was going around trying to find another studio. Like, I think that's kind of the first time I've ever heard from that like business perspective. I mean,
yeah,
Tony Hawk, he's a business guy, but he's like a skater first, So when
right,
like
yeah,
I feel like that might be like NDA stuff that he's talking about. He didn't list who the actual companies were that they talked to, but
yeah,
I mean, could that mean that Activision's actively seeking another studio to possibly get a sequel?
yeah,
Not a remake, like a sequel?
yeah, maybe,
I
maybe,
think that'd be pretty cool. I wanna see another Skate. and I want to see another
Yes,
Tony Hawk.
sir. I want to see another Skate. Or Skate 4. And they're working on that. What happened to that? I do want to read the last little section. It says shortly after the 1 and 2 remake shipped, Vicarious Visions merged into Blizzard Entertainment, and then
Mhm.
all staff moved into roles that were quote fully dedicated to existing Blizzard games and initiatives. Man, that's like I feel like that's so
Yeah.
unfortunate, but it's like, I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, dude, I feel like if you love making Tony Hawk and then you gotta like go work on like Diablo, it's like, come on,
Oh no,
please,
man.
like, dude. Oh, maybe Blizzard's making a skate game. Could you imagine? Like a skateboarding game? Kind of correct.
I could see him making a snowboarding game just because their name's Blizzard.
That's very true. Could you imagine
Yeah,
if they had
but
Overwatch characters in the snowboarding game? Just work with me here for a second, you know?
dude, there's so many collabs that like studios could be doing. Studios that own multiple IPs that are super successful.
No.
Like that's the one thing you can't knock Nintendo.
Yeah.
They were like, we have all these IPs. Let's make them all fight. Yeah, Super Smash, buddy. There we go. When that game came out, that was nuts.
Yeah,
Who's your
true.
favorite character of all time? Mario. Who's yours? Link. It's like, well, Mario would totally whoop Link's butt. It's like, let's find out. Let's make a game.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's find out.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just
then they just use
probably how it went.
Fox, dude. Just gonna use Fox and then it's over because Fox is Fox, man.
Fox is a goat. The only person that can beat Fox is Pikachu. But I digress. I
I
digress.
digress.
Tony
Anyway,
Hawk making a comeback would be phenomenal. But
yeah.
I want Microsoft to come in and basically tell Blizzard what they have to do. Make a
Yeah.
Tony Hawk game.
I mean, yeah,
Tony
you
Hawk's gonna
know?
retire like the next 10 years. My
Exactly.
man's out here doing his last tricks.
I
He's like
know.
45 or something,
No, we
doing
got
900s.
gotta capitalize here. Blizzard, come on. And Microsoft, that'd be so funny if Microsoft, like, you know, they're doing that merger and they're just like, hey, yo, you guys want to make a skate game or like a snowboarding or something, like something
Yeah,
related to some sort of skating? That'd be so funny. So who knows? Maybe Microsoft can make it happen. I don't know what their vision over there. They're trying to do a lot of things. So who knows, man?
facts. You know, the one thing that does upset me a little bit is like Activision Blizzard when I I think EA also does this. Yeah, Electronic Arts also does this where they'll go in and they'll buy like a smaller studio to get the IP and they'll set that IP on a collision course to fail.
Yeah.
So they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, here's okay, we're going to take half your studio and then put them on our games and your deadline is now increased by 6 months. Good luck." And then like a really good original IP can't make a proper sequel or like trilogy because they don't have the resources and then it bombs and then EA or Blizzard like sells the studio or
Yeah. God, it's
completely wipes it clean. Like
yeah.
that's happened a
God.
bunch with Electronic Arts, but
Yeah. It's just so
hey,
unfortunate too. I can't imagine. Just like you're just
yeah,
absorbed, forgotten, and who
that's
knows,
what
man.
happens, man. That's what happens. A lot of people leave in mergers too, so
Yeah.
whatever.
I guess
But
it is what it is, you know.
as long as Tony Hawk's still around, the person, and also skating is still a big deal. Like, there's gonna be another Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, man.
Eh.
I want to play as Nigel Houston, dude. That'd be kind of sick. Play as, like some of the goats that are right now, man.
Yeah.
That'd be cool,
I'll be honest, I haven't kept up with skating very much in a long time, so I don't
dude.
know much of the skaters out there.
Yeah, I can't tell if everybody's just super athletic now or if it's like the tech that they're using. Like
Yeah.
the technology of the skateboard and the shoes are just better. But these kids are freaking nuts. They're just crazy skilled, man. It's really cool to watch. I always keep up. I come from like an X Games kind of style
Yeah.
background. Obviously, I don't do that anymore, but I gotta watch it. Gotta support it.
Yeah.
You know?
So I used to love watching X Games. So
Oh yeah.
watching the skating and stuff. Super dope. And then they did video games. They had a COD tournament at X Games. Remember that?
That was yeah. They had a Halo tournament on X Games. There are Halo people that won gold at
Yeah,
X
it's
Games.
crazy, man. I know X Games gold medalists and they're gamers. Love to see that.
Yeah, wild. Get
Love to
out here.
see it. There's also another thing I love to see, and that is sales of video games.
Oh yeah, all the summer
Sales.
sales in the next like what we had the summer sales 2 weeks ago with Epic Games,
Yep.
right? Like the the end of it was spring sale event, right? Because wasn't the start of summer like 2 days ago?
I think so. Yeah, official start.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, so now we're full on summer sales, and I'm here for it.
Come on, baby. PlayStation is having their big summer sale right now. And these, according to this article, Kotaku, they always have their like cheeky headlines. It's actually
They
not that
always do.
bad. So, um, they outline some of the details. There is a blog post on PlayStation site if you want to go see the whole thing. I would certainly recommend going to check that out.
Hmm.
Some deals that they did note. You know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is 60% off right now, $24. And Valhalla is also included in the game library for Sony's revamped PS Plus. So, if you got PS Plus, you won't have to worry about that too much. Um, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and all of its DLC is currently listed at $10. It's getting a next gen upgrade later this year as well. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is half off at $30 right now. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the bundled 4K respray of Bioware's. Uh, t- huh. I don't know what that says. I'll be honest with you. Anyway, the space game, the space trilogies. Yeah, that's gonna be at $24. Uh, Hitman 3's Deluxe Edition at $32. You have Scarlet Nexus half off at $30. Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is $13. That's like an old game now. I feel like. Middle Earth Shadow of War, probably an even older game than that. It's at $7. Life is Strange 2 is down from 32 to 12. Individual chapters are $4 a piece. Anthem is $6. Lol, that's what the article says.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Anthem is on sale for $6 on PlayStation, ladies and gentlemen. Full list, of course, is over at the PlayStation blog. I'll try and link that as well down below. Um, no,
Sorry.
no, good. But yeah, that's that. I mean, those are some of the notable ones, but of course, there's tons and tons of deals over on PlayStation. So if you got a console, I'd recommend go checking it out and see if you can cop yourself a deal. Anything of interest to you, Mike? Have you looked at the list?
Well, I just pulled up the list as you were giving the breakdown of the article, and I can't really go through the full list because there's so many games. Like, there's an
Hey,
unreasonable amount of games on sale.
man, it's a
And
good
there are a
thing.
lot of good ones. Like the one I just stopped on, Injustice 2, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
it's a
yeah.
fighting game. It's really cool. It has a lot of awesome animations. It got Life is Strange, multiple episodes, and the complete season. Like Maneater. You know how I feel about Maneater.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that game. Big fan of playing as a crazy tiger shark just messing everybody up.
Oh yeah.
Mortal Kombat, like Monster Hunter, Monopoly Madness, Middle Earth. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Rainbow Six is on here too. Oh, sorry, Rainbow Skies. I was gonna be really surprised with Rainbow Six. Yeah, they got plenty of Star Wars games too. That's a huge IP. The Sims 4. I know a lot of people love The Sims.
Love The
Like,
Sims.
yeah, them playing Tom Clancy games, dude. It's if you got a PlayStation, you need to go to the PlayStation blog ASAP
Take a
because
look.
the amount, dude, or just sign on your PlayStation, right? Go to the store.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like it's crazy. Up to 75% off on select titles. And I can't even count them. I almost put it into a word counter, but I'm like, no, there's like A to Z. I'm on a 1440p monitor and I have to scroll for a while to see the end. So go check
Jeez.
that out ASAP.
Check it
ASAP.
out.
There's so many games on sale right now. There's more to come too. We talked about Epic Games doing their sale. We talked about Amazon Prime doing the Prime deals. Nintendo periodically will just be random sales. Steam is out of control too. Like Steam sales, like I'm getting stuff. I'm like, I don't have time to play this, but I want to buy it because it's like 70% off.
Oh,
I forgot which game I recently saw, but it was like a battle royale. It looked really cool. Like, t- and I'm getting targeted ads. $1,000 off on a Samsung TV. They hear me, man. They hear me. They're listening. Everything's on sale. Inflation's high, but sales are high. Let's go.
Let's go. We gotta compensate somehow.
Yeah, buddy. Think about it this way: the higher the inflation goes, The cheaper everything becomes, right? Wait, maybe. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not an economist. I'm just a dude that likes good video games.
Yeah, big same. I'm also a dude that's out of articles this week, so that was all I had.
What a segue. I feel like this week had some decent things going on. We're still missing that like heavy hitters, man. I
Yeah, oh
feel like
yeah.
we're due for like we're due for
Yeah.
something.
Smacks.
I
I mean, we just had the game conferences, you know. That was the biggest thing recently.
Yeah. The conferences, the Summer Games Fest is basically like a teaser for what's to come. I think right now the industry and the way things are like panning out, it's like the tech for everything is becoming better and cheaper. So like things are going on sale more, especially games. Obviously, just covering that. Controllers coming out, they're going to be on sale when they're available. But I think we're in limbo again. We're a little bit in
Yeah.
limbo. I think
You know, it's the summer. I don't expect anything crazy. But you know,
everybody's at the pool.
but hey, you know, we'll give you some heat. Maybe you know, one of these episodes we'll actually do what like we always talk about, or just having some like dedicated topic for an hour. So when the news is real slow. I don't know. Maybe we'll fulfill that one day.
I think so. I think we could totally do that. Maybe what we should start doing is doing live streams or streaming the podcast live during maybe on Discord to start off. See if we can get some people to come check it out.
Yeah.
Use that Discord server platform that I keep getting notifications for.
Yeah. Hey
So
man, what happened?
yeah, so you said you're done for the week. You don't have anything else for us?
That's all I got, dude. That's all I had. You know?
Man. Yeah, I'm about there too. I think I think next week's gonna be pretty good with the PlayStation controllers though.
Yeah, that'll be a good
I'm
topic.
very
We'll
I'm
have,
very excited.
always excited for stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, I think this is shorter than the last one, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
All
it's
right.
it's good. It's good. I think the last two episodes were like crazy in length, so we got a nice
Yeah,
normal episode.
heck yeah, let's go. All right. Well, I guess without further ado, that's episode 23 of the MT podcast. And I'm your host, Michael Nancy, my co-host over here, Kyle Heath. You can catch us both on the Twitters. All the links are in the description. Join the Discord, say what's up, or don't. Doesn't matter.
Hey, I'll
So
watch it. Look, if it means anything, I want you to join. All right, would love to
just
have you. You
kidding.
know.
Yeah, for sure. Come on, join. Say what's up. If you see any articles or you see anything like any suggestions for the podcast in particular, reach out to us.
Yeah.
So
So the Discord's for
yeah,
it too. Post them in the Discord.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've been spamming. We got an entire section dedicated to news that we find interesting. So
Yep. Let's keep it up to
yes, sir.
date. So come on over.
Yes, sir. Without further ado, we'll catch you later.
Thanks for listening,
See ya.
everyone.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.